Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones, Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast where we get to the heart of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, one googly-eyed minute at a time. I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Gerald Christopher Harlequin Beetle Porter.
Hi, I'm Lila Higgins. I work at the Natural History Museum in Los Angeles County. I studied bugs for 4 years in college, and that's it.
Welcome back.
That's
Lila.
enough.
Thanks for
That's
coming
plenty.
back.
Yeah, thanks for coming back for 57.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun talking to you yesterday. And today we're here to talk about minute 57, which begins with Indy once again using archaeological evidence as kindling. And it ends with a skeleton from Pirates of the Caribbean rising up from the floor.
Oh, totally. My first note is just that I love Shorty in the scene. He's
absolutely.
He's awesome. He goes from being totally like, oh, I messed up and now Indy's mad at me and now I got to go stand against the wall. And then, you know, I'm kind of skipping to the middle of the minute, but he leans against the wall, sets off the thing. The things start coming up and down. And he's immediately like, that was not my fault. And he's furious at Indy. And he's like, and Jerry, you'll understand this. I think you and I shared the sense in childhood of like, hey, that was not some adult just caused something to happen and somehow I'm being blamed for it. And this is baloney. And I've always wanted to be Shorty in this scene and just be like, hey, knock it off. That was not me. That was you. I did exactly what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, that's how he frames it, because he's gesticulating wildly, and he emphasizes the my. He says, not my fault, not my fault. And like he's saying it's somebody's fault, and there's only one other guy in the room. So it's kind of his little way of... Maybe.
I still feel like that. I mean, I feel like Shorty today. I get yelled at by adults all the time.
Come on, guys.
Oh, God, stop it.
See, I got you. That's a deep cut.
No, I do love it. And I love how Indy is. He's like, stop. Look, stand up against the wall, would you?
Yeah.
He even kind of laughs when he says that.
Yeah, he does. He
has a
does.
little
It's actually
chuckle.
really, really well acted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A very dad moment again.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't a dad be actually more angry? I mean, you tell me.
He's pretty
tell
angry.
me, Tom. I mean,
He's taking it
he's
well,
kind
but
of
he's
frustrated. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like, you know, it's look, I know you didn't mean to do anything wrong, but you really, really screwed up. And we're in a bad place because of you. So just go stand over there.
We're in a bad place. But that's what's amazing. We talk about this pretty much every minute. You're like, why would you bring the 7-year-old down the infested corridor into the booby trap room?
Right.
But then he takes his frustration out on Willie. Like, he immediately starts yelling at Willie. You know, he's like, Willie, get down here.
Yeah. And I love, again, I said this before, that I love that they're, she's in her opulent palace bedroom, and they're in this dank, weird, crazy secret passageway thing, but they're connected. Like, they can hear each other, and it's almost like she's in there with them, even though she's in this, beautiful bedroom. I just love that weird kind of connection stuff.
Mm-hmm. Her line here is interesting, because she says, bet I get all dirty again. And it's kind of a sad line, because you sort of get the sense that she's had a little bit of a respite here, and she maybe got to take a bath, and this horrible ordeal felt like it was over, and all of a sudden she's getting dragged right back into it.
Wah.
Also, the portrayal of a woman who doesn't want to get dirty, going into those stereotypes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
As a female scientist, I like to get dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some of that'll rub off on Willie after a while from Indy. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, because I wonder, what was she expecting to happen? Were they just going to stay at the palace? Originally, she kind of, had machinations for maybe marrying or dating the Maharaja. So, I mean, like, is she, I guess, according to Willie, is this whole thing just over? I mean, or she was going to stay at the palace, or I don't know.
Yeah, I get the sense she thought maybe that her part in this was over. Like maybe Indy was just going to talk to the Maharaja and convince him to get the kids to leave? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
Thanks, because I thought it was stupid.
It got better when Pete weighed in.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Pete fleshed it out a little bit. I was utterly confused when you posed it, but yeah.
Well, you mentioned this. We talked about this yesterday. I mean, why is there a booby trap room here? And I was thinking, okay, to, I guess, keep intruders out of the Temple of Doom, I guess. And then I thought, can you think of any other religious place that has booby traps in their vestibule? And I thought to myself, well, Catholicism has all that guilt that you feel on the way in.
Yeah, it's nothing but booby traps.
Way into church. It's nothing but booby. After, 12 years of Catholic education, I feel I can speak about that. But I was like, why is there why is the booby trap room here?
And who's it for?
And who's it for?
We still haven't determined if it's for good guys or bad guys.
I feel like it must be for bad guys to keep good guys out. Like, I think that it was put there by the thuggy people, and that it's their secret. They know how to get through it without triggering anything, even though it seems like it's pretty easy to get through without triggering anything, unless you're a kid or a dizzy dame or something. And I say that sarcastically.
Well, I think you're right. And I think I've cracked the code. I think I figured out what's going on. I think I figured out what the room is. Not this room, but the googly-eyed guy's room. I think, when Shorty pulls open that door and those two guys kind of fall out, those kind of emaciated guys. And then Willie has the same sort of thing. Indy says they're in trouble, and Willie says, "Trouble? What trouble?" And she turns around and sees those two guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's the wine cellar for the blood of Kali.
Oh.
Because
wow.
A little bit later in the movie, you find out that they pour the blood of Kali from a human head that looks just like those guys. So I think those are like the oak barrels that they're aging the blood of Kali in.
It's a little, it would be a little bit like the sacristy.
Yeah.
And I guess in Catholicism. Wow, that's pretty crazy. So you saying that's where, is that where they are later? Or is that the passageway that leads, or is that just where they kind of store the blood of Kali?
I think that's where they age it, because that's like the oak barrels where they get the hint of chocolate or
Otherwise, it
a
would
mild
taste
hint
gross.
of anxiety and broken friendship.
Well, Lila, you watched this movie, right?
Yeah.
Where?
Many times today. And when I was a child.
Where is the entrance to the Temple of Doom?
I mean, it's...
how do you think those guys get in there?
Well, didn't they show it? I mean, they touch the woman who has her lovely stone breasts. I mean, it's obviously not made out of stone in the movie on the set. You could see when Willie was pushing it, the second one, you could see it slightly shaking, and I hope you talked about that in the minute before that.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
no, we're going to
totally.
talk about shaking boobs. We gotta
No,
go back.
All about shaking boobs.
Can we do that minute again?
The set, you can see when she pushes it, the set is not very well made, and you can see that this supposedly stone statue in the stone column sort of shakes. And I was like, well, that's a very poorly made set, that is.
Must have been a tremor from down in the depths of the something.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a logical explanation.
You're not just an expert on bugs, are you?
But actually, I think maybe what Jerry's asking is where do the parishioners enter the temple?
Oh, well.
Yeah, is that the secret? Is that like the secret back door?
They go down, I know what they actually, I think they go down this cricket hole, and it's this giant cricket that's like dug a hole, and that's how they enter in through this giant cricket hole. And somehow Indy missed that, and they're taking the booby trap way. But unfortunately, if they'd just known, they would have taken this giant cricket hole. It's like better than going down the rabbit hole with Alice in Wonderland. It's down the cricket hole. It's a whole new book I want to write now.
Yeah, there's a whole new nightmare I'm going to have now.
You're welcome.
Giant cricket hole.
Well, last minute, Pete blew our minds with the revelation that Willie actually releases the spikes or triggers the spikes by bumping into something behind her on the wall. And I'm calling absolute on that. There's no way that that's what happens. She just happens to fall back and like hit the wall with nothing on it.
But the spikes don't start moving until she does that.
No, but this is like the next phase of this trap. The walls are coming, or the ceiling's coming down, and then that's just happenstance that they just cut to that happening after they cut to her, freaking out. I don't see any evidence of her triggering that, and I don't know how that would make sense to
Other
me.
than her hitting a wall and spikes coming out.
Well, yeah. Well, she's also stepping on bugs, and the spikes don't come out. And then, I don't know.
I went back and watched that, and I thought it was, I guess phase 3 of the booby trap. Too.
Yeah.
Like the spikes needed a warm up minute. You know what I mean, to come out. But I wouldn't take such a hard line on it. It is. She does like run into something and specifically back into something the same way that Shorty does, and then the spikes do come out. It's the next scene, so it's possible.
Well, when you listen to it with sound, when she bumps into the wall, you hear like a mechanism thing, and then the spikes start to come up. You hear like a mechanical thing as soon as she bumps into the wall.
I don't know.
Wait a minute.
I don't know about no sound.
I smell a pole on the Listener's Crusade. I smell a pole for the Listener's Crusade. So that might be something we have to put up.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Because the way it is shot, that is possible, Pete.
All things are possible in the Temple of Doom.
I think that Mo and Joe Googly Eye Corpse guys still look really friendly and welcoming.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that they're almost just like greeters.
Yeah.
It's like going to Napa.
We're not, we couldn't really figure out how those fellows perished. Yeah, what do you think, Lila? We were because the way that they died, they look like they're together. They're kind of like arm in arm.
Well, you kept saying that last time, or last week or whatever. And they're I get what you're saying, but they're not quite. They both have had their arms up, like they're chained. They're hanging from chains, and they're kind of the one guy's sort of behind the other guy, so his arms technically sort of around him or behind him. But I don't know.
I think I have a theory.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just came up with it, but it's totally going to hold true. So, so there's clearly lots of cobwebs in this tunnel, right? And there are certain species of spiders that make these cobwebs. So there's a whole family of spiders, the Theridiidae, and in that group of spiders are the black and brown widows. Ooh. So maybe they were chained up by the thuggies, and then they had black and brown widows in that they put on them to envenomate them multiple times, and then they died from black widow envenomation. Or they might have gone with the most potent Australian, because it's in India, so maybe they went down to Australia, got the redback spider, brought them back, and then used that to envenomate them. Wow. I think that's it.
I mean, did you children's parties too?
No one's ever paid me to do that, but I would.
Is there already a band called Envenomate? Because if there isn't, we have to start one.
That's an awesome word.
Oh, that is amazing. So they chained him up and then they envenomated him.
It was a torture. It actually helps with the development of the good taste of the wine.
I would think so, yeah. This all makes sense.
How you know what?
Boy, I just looked up redback spider.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, that's a scary looking spider.
Isn't it beautiful?
It is. It's gorgeous, but
That's
not
not
what you just
scary.
said.
Not scary, not grotesque.
Yeah, lovely.
Lovely.
Don't look
Part
up.
of this
Don't
beautiful earth.
don't look up necrotic spider bite. Don't Google.
God.
Search that.
As a fellow Californian, how nervous should I be about the Black Widow?
I don't think you have to be at all. I mean, I'm not,
okay.
so I don't think you should be. So Black Widows, really, they're kind of being overtaken by the Brown Widow species, and they have this very different kind of egg sac, which I'm surprised they didn't put any spider egg sacs down in all these cobwebs in the tunnel. But yeah, they're really shy spiders, and they've done research where they've literally had brown widows, black widows, and pinched them versus prodded them versus poked them, and pinching is what kind of elicits a spider bite much more than poking or prodding. So just don't go and pinch any black widows, and you're going to be fine.
And is the brown widow just generally more hospitable and friendly than the black widow?
So the brown widow was introduced from Africa. I forget what year that was, but they've started like taking over and outcompeting the black widows. Is at least what the scientists think, but we're not 100% sure.
And less poisonous, or still poisonous?
They still have, well, it's venom versus poison. So when you eat something that makes you ill, that's poisonous. When something injects venom into you, that's venomous. So a snake is venomous. This is very geeky.
This is perfect. Wait
You
a
don't
minute.
understand geeky at all.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, what am I talking about?
By the way, you were absolutely not kidding about do not look up necrotic spider bites.
And what did you
I'm
do,
so
Pete?
sorry.
What did you do?
I did a complete short round there.
So in college, I found this Tropical Parasites and Diseases book in the library, and I checked it out, of course, and then took it to all the parties that I went to and made people look at it. And there were terrible, terrible things caused by many terrible tropical parasites, including I'm actually not going to say what. There's just some terrible things in there.
The Earth is horrible. This is a horrible planet we live on.
It's like everything once you did.
Horribly interesting.
Horribly dead.
Yes.
Yeah, horribly and painfully dead.
Beautiful and royal are the words we're using today.
Beautifully and royally dead. Yes.
Yeah.
We do get a nice one little more fever dream reference here.
Oh, I know what you're going to say, Pete. I know what you're going to say. Is it second 58?
Maybe. No, actually, I don't think it is.
Oh.
What is it?
Well, the ceiling looks exactly like a Star Destroyer. It's this perfectly triangular shape flying away from you. And what better representation could there be of Han's fear and anxiety than a Star Destroyer he's trying to escape from, but he can't get away from?
Two of them
true.
coming right at us.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the 58 one, Jer?
Oh, second 58 of this minute, which is huge in terms of the whole Han Solo fever dream. When the ceiling starts to descend, we literally have the carbonite chamber sound effect.
Oh.
Oh my God. I didn't even pick that up.
It's it's like a variation. It's kind of like that thing. a little bit. I mean, I embellished as I am wont to do, but
Sure.
It sounds like the actual, chamber that they put on Solo in when he gets
Oh,
frozen
you're
in
absolutely
carbonite.
right, actually.
That's funny.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You heard it?
Yeah, I just heard it. Yeah.
Second 58.
Well, that will not be the last Star Wars sound in this movie. There's some good ones coming up.
No.
Well, now, Pete, you mentioned, and Tom, you agreed, this whole Pirates of the Caribbean at the end of this minute. So I'm wondering, why is it that animated skeletons on spikes calls to mind pirates?
Well, it also has like a scarf around its head. It sort of looks like it has a jewel on it.
But even that one perfect skull that comes down from the ceiling that's stuck on a spike, even that looks like a pirate kind of thing. I think, I don't know, pirates, the Jolly Roger, everything. The skulls maybe are the first thing you think of are pirates.
It all came from the Rescuers, I think.
Is that right?
That's where I first saw it.
Can we do that minute by minute?
Sure.
Well, I just wondered because all of us, I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's kind of, and it's a super, The Thief of Baghdad or, one of those super old-timey, Sinbad, 1930s, which throwback type things where the skeletons become alive. I think in The Thief of Baghdad, the guy does fight skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he does.
Yeah, it made me think of, back in kind of William the Conqueror times, and they would put heads on spikes outside of the Tower of London. So it didn't make me think of
Yeah.
pirates, but
Oh, sure.
Well, you wonder, did these guys all die exactly in that booby trap? The vestibule to the Temple of Doom?
Or do you think somebody just took these bodies and tossed them in there later on for
Well,
decoration?
maybe they died on, I don't know.
Or did they because this depends on your religion about the spikes, but I was also wondering if they all died from spikes or if some of them died without the spikes being set off and they just died from starvation.
It does seem like there are 3 ways to die in here, like just from being trapped and stuck, and yeah, you starve, or you get smushed by the ceiling, or you get stabbed by the spikes.
The spikes.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about that is, if we go with your theory, Tom, then everybody would be killed by spikes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, eventually, yeah. If we go with Pete's theory, then you need some other interloper coming in and hitting the wall. That's a
Right.
hell of a weird booby trap. You got to trip all sorts of different things. Something's in the room, and then something's outside back in the hallway.
Yeah, because I actually wonder if the roof would even do it, the ceiling. Like, it seems like there are places where you could, like, since it is sort of canonical. Is that the right word? No, conical? Conical.
I thought it was pyramidal.
We talk about nerd stuff too much.
Yeah,
Like the middle would hit the floor, and then you'd have room like on the sides and stuff to like hide, but that you can't escape the spikes. The spikes are the key. Spikes what's get you.
Just like in the giant spiny stick insect, their spiky legs.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, incidentally, so the spines are so big on the male insect's legs that they're actually harvested for fishing hooks.
Oh God.
Wow. Where?
Where they're from, in New Guinea, Solomon Islands area.
Wow.
Wow.
Another name for them is like thorny devil, which is very apropos of Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know what? I just got to ask it. What is the largest insect in the world?
And is
Just
it in
gotta
my
ask
closet
it.
right now?
Yeah, I mean,
So, it's what measure of largeness?
oh,
Intellect.
yeah.
I don't know. We could give them a pop quiz. Maybe that'll figure it out.
I guess just in terms of like the longest or biggest spatially.
Okay. So there's some really long stick insects that are, again, over a foot long.
Ugh.
Though if we were back in the time of the dinosaurs, Cretaceous and before, there were some giant dragonflies
Oh yeah.
that were had the wingspan of a good sized bird, like a bird of prey, which
Wow.
that would be amazing to see. But yeah, so
What did those guys eat?
I mean, I don't know because I haven't been back to the Cretaceous.
I'm
But
just wondering because if you're that big, but you're normally a dragonfly, I mean, you got to eat a hell of a lot of stuff
yeah, so
just to maintain that weight.
dragonflies today eat other insects, but they obviously, I'm sure, ate other insects back then, other large flying insects, because they were larger.
But those ones in the Natural History Museum that you see on the murals, I mean, those things would have to eat cows.
Baby
Or
cows,
so, yeah, baby calves.
baby rabbits. They could. But I'm 100% sure. Like a million people are gonna now say there were no rabbits at that time in evolution. So no rabbits, no cows either.
Well, and then we have some. If you want to jump ahead just a little bit, since you won't be back for the next couple minutes, we do have some other bugs that show up in minutes 58 and 59. So what in minute 58, she looks down and opens her hand, and there's a crazy giant. Is that a
Yes.
stick bug?
That's another stick insect. So
Okay.
it's a different species than the one that was on. Oh God, what's the kid's name again?
Short round.
Short round.
Short round.
Yeah.
Different species than the one with on short round's leg. This is the female spiny leaf insect. Well, it's a female of the spiny leaf insect.
All right.
And they're Australian species, so
Okay.
they again went from India to Australia to pick them up to populate their little tunnel.
Yeah, or pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Another
The,
pilgrimage.
these ones have spines on their legs, but not as big as the spines on that was on Short Round Leg. That was the one that they can use to make fishing hooks out of.
Okay.
And so these guys eat eucalyptus leaves in the wild. And I love how she said, "I broke a nail." Turns her hand over. "Oh, I didn't even feel this giant spiny stick insect that's clearly using its little hooked feet to hold onto my hand."
Ooh.
Yeah.
Are they heavy? Like, would you feel the weight of one if you didn't feel the hooks, or are they really light?
They're quite light, but you'd feel it. You'd 100%. Again, they have those little hooks and those little spines. You feel that on your skin a lot.
Yeah.
And then when they get pissed off, like they can kind of click their legs together, and then if your finger happens to be in between its leg and the spines, then kind of get caught on you. That feels really bad.
Ow.
You sound like you speak from experience.
More so with the giant spiny stick insects, the one that was on Short Round's leg. That
Okay.
that hurt when I
Wow.
yeah.
Well, then in 59, minute 59, there's like what looks like an insanely huge centipede, I believe, that crawls into Willie's wig.
Yes, it's clearly a wig.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure it's a person. It looks like it's like
No.
a
Yeah.
hobby horse with like a wig on or something. Yeah.
Is that correct? Is that a centipede?
That is another centipede, and 100% I would not have that on my personal body. All the other insects, totally cool. And I've collected giant centipedes, like, in the desert. But I would not want to get bitten by one. They're very, very, very fast. Their venom, it doesn't necessarily kill people usually, the venom of the species of centipede that we have here, but it wouldn't feel good, would not feel good. Be painful.
Well, all right. We can give a pass then on using using the hobby horse. Right?
Yeah, going up into your neck region.
Yeah.
There's another one too with crazy long legs that crawls into her wig.
Oh, I'm gonna move forward to that. Oh, that's the Harlequin beetle.
Oh, that's the Harlequin beetle. Okay.
Yeah, that's the giant Harlequin beetle. And so you can see its front legs are really like elongated.
Yeah,
And
those are crazy.
they're particularly elongated in the males, and I'm having a hard time identifying whether this is a male or female, but it's kind of like look how long my legs are to the female. It's a mating strategy. Like, maybe a little bit different than humans, but...
Does anybody have anything else about...
But wait,
50s?
yet. Oh, this just in from Professor Christy Porter.
This seems to happen every time.
Oh, I thought it was a real person in the last one.
Well,
She's sort of real.
I thought it was a real person in real time. I should clarify.
Oh, don't give it away. Don't give it away.
Think of the children.
You should have warned me ahead of time.
Oh, yes. Professor Christy Porter. I'd give my left for a legless lizard in a peep-toe pump.
What?
What?
I think she was just, after watching minute 57.
Yeah.
Raiders. Remember the legless lizards and the peep-toe
Oh,
pump?
yeah. Oh, okay. God, peep-toed pump. Wow, okay.
I think I was hung up on Christie's...
Yeah, really. Everything about that message confused me. Now I'm angry.
I was really confused because I was literally hanging out with legless lizards yesterday.
Hey.
And so was really confused about, like, how did they know?
Oh. Well, did you, lastly, Lila, have you seen all the Indiana Jones movies?
Yes, but not in a long time.
Which one is your favorite?
I mean, Temple of Doom. The bugs are.
Wow.
And I literally remember seeing it as a kid, and going to the movie theater in the Malvern Hills, in the middle of country England, and watching this and being scared by these bugs. But then when I went to college and started studying them, I was like, wow, these are the same bugs that I'm now like looking after at the museum. And they're not scary at all. These are all really easy to handle.
Well, that's cool.
It's amazing how many people these movies influence to go into a career by doing that kind of the opposite of what was done in the movies.
Right. Right.
Cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I was my career decision was totally informed by Indiana Jones Temple of Doom, but 7% maybe.
Sure.
All right.
Well, Lila, thank you for joining us again. This was a lot of fun. And if people are interested in maybe learning more about insects or would like to hear more from you and your expertise, where might they do that?
So you can find me on Instagram, Coleoptera, which is the word beetle, Coleoptera with my name Lila in the middle, or on Twitter at Lila May Higgins. And I love, love, love it when people send me their pictures of insects and creatures from around the world for me to try to identify, which, on your recent trip, seeing your Instagram posts.
Yes. You were wonderful. Yeah, I got all kinds of great information from you.
Tag me in your insect pictures.
Yes, please do that. And Jerry, if people want to tag us somehow, how might they do that?
Well, they should come to Facebook and join the Indiana Jones Minute Listeners Crusade, where there's going to be all sorts of discussion about bugs and legless lizards and whether or not my sister, Professor Krista Porter, is real.
Yes, please do that. And you can also join us right back here tomorrow for minute 58 of the Indiana Jones Minute.
Bones?
Boom!
Nah, I said that a couple times.
Yeah,
That's okay.
That's all right.
yeah. Don't look up Necrotic spider bite!